Or now we're creating an entitled human who can now use your spirituality against you and give you a guilty conscience for your unwillingness to share. It's like, there's this saying, give someone a fish, you feed them for a day. Teach someone how to fish, you feed them for a lifetime. But you gotta be very, very honest with yourself. You're going to encounter a lot of people in your life who just don't want to learn how to fish. And so now here you are trying to teach them, trying to teach them something, and they're like with their hands out, like, could you give me another fish? Just for today. Just for today, please. Just give me a fish. Just give me a fish for today, and tomorrow I'll be better. Tomorrow we can teach. Tomorrow we can study. Tomorrow I'll do my inner work. But just for today, can you give me that fish? Can you give it to me? Please? Please? Welcome to Self-Mastery School for Moms, where you learn how to silence your inner saboteur, awaken your energy body, and connect to your higher self. You will go from mom to master, so you can make each day your masterpiece. My name is Janice Nelson, author and self-mastery teacher of Fabulous One Philosophy. I'm on a mission to help you become the awakened mom. You are Fabulous One, and all you have to do is remember what you forgot. And so as a self-master, you're going to understand who is friend, who is foe. You're also going to understand your own psychology, your own emotions. And therefore, you're not going to be too quick to point fingers at others. Because when you feel triggered, you will understand immediately, oh, there's something within I need to investigate. It is not them per se. It could be me. And you will have the honesty to say that to yourself. When it comes to self-mastery, there's nothing you need to confess to the world. You don't have to be like me. You don't have to become like me. The reason why I'm online and why I'm on YouTube and why I am on camera is because it matches my personality. This is my personality that enjoys being on camera. It has basically nothing to do with my real self. But the real self, the true you, doesn't judge the ego, you see? And this is maybe a foreign concept that we, until now, really don't hear a lot about. Definitely don't know about teachings that help you include the ego in your travels, to see the ego as a companion, a navigator who shows you left from right. And once you can distance yourself emotionally and no longer judge left or right, now you can make choices based upon who you really are. And so as a self-master, you will finally realize you don't have to save them. All you need to do is save yourself. If you wish the world to change within one day, then all of us just have to wake up to who we are. And then from that position, the foundation is created. Self-master is the foundation. It's not the end result. It's not the end station. And so we're living in a world right now upside down, thinking that enlightenment, self-mastery, becoming a self-master, that's what you do when you're 60, 70, 80, and you'll start teaching spirituality to the masses. You become the old wise woman, and that's when you have the right to speak about becoming the enlightened one. Only the older people are, in that position taken seriously. Okay, you have people like myself, but let's be honest. the older people have much more of a preference because we think wisdom comes with age. And so we're living in a backward society where we're going to respect wisdom once it's too late. No offense. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. But wisdom should be with the younger generation. And then, of course, the argument can be made, because I have this discussion with my husband all the time. He says, yeah, but that's impossible because wisdom comes with life experience. You're not going to be able to make those connections if you did not have had the life experience. So that's why older people, 70 years old, 80 years old, are much more... that's why we listen to the older generation when it comes to enlightenment, because we feel they've earned it. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. We feel because we're older, we're 70, we're 80, you've earned the right to say, I've lived a little, I've been through some processes, I had my painful experiences, I've learned from them, I came above it, and now as a result of that, I can see the light. I am enlightened now, and I can pass it on to the next generation. And we accept it from the older generation, from the older people, because what else should they be doing, right? They've done all the other stuff. They've completely actualized themselves as well, you know? I mean, in a positive way. I'm not saying everybody should be a millionaire, but I'm saying they are actualized, independent, emotionally and financially independent. And so now they can spread their wisdom upon the people. But it's too late, because the younger generation are not listening. It's people like me, Generation X, who's listening to the older generation, to the 60, 70, 80 years old. I'm listening. But if I don't become a self-master now, I won't be able to influence the generations below me. You see, I'm Generation X. So if I wake up now, I can influence millennials, Generation Z. But someone who's 70, 80 years old won't be able to attract Generation Z. And so this is the dilemma we're in. Sorry, I'm itchy. So this is the dilemma. Every generation, a group of teachers is born, right? But we are doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result. The people like myself, Generation X, are learning from the great masters. And now all I'm doing is repeating the same information that I've learned from the great masters. And that's what makes me different. I refuse, because what I understood from my teaching, from my learnings, what I understood from my studies, is that that's not really what the great masters are saying. The great masters are saying, learn from everything that has happened in human history and then improve upon it. But then again, Buckminster Fuller said, it is practically, and I'm paraphrasing, it's practically impossible to improve upon an existing system. It's better to create a new system and make the old system obsolete. Right? So I took that to heart. And also because of my own life experience, I felt that was true. And what I also encountered was that the framework that the older generation teachers use is not compatible within the modern timeline that we're living in today. So we need a mental framework that matches the modern times we are in today. We need a framework that can move with evolution. We need a framework that can move at the speed that technology is evolving right now. Because technology is moving so fast, but our mental capacity, technology is moving so fast, we do not have the mental bandwidth to keep up with technology. And so technology is going to leave us behind. And now we're going to be able to, and now what's going to happen is that because of our lack of growth in our mental framework, we are not going to be able to distinguish between the virtual and the real. It's all going to blend together. And it's going to create a big mess. So this is what I foresee the future. This is what my daughter, Generation Z, I think she is Generation Z, is going to have to deal with. What's real? What's fake? Someone like myself, who's Generation X, is still able to make that distinction. And so it's very important that women my age and the millennials wake up so we can course correct. Because the older generation teachers, they don't have the, I don't know what's the word. They're not in touch with this century. I don't know how to say it, but of course there are a few who are really, really leveling up, but they're not that old yet, right? I don't want to throw people under the bus saying you're old, you know. I'm old. I'm 44. I'm old. So, and what also is not going to happen is that there's going to be this one person who's going to enlighten the whole world. It doesn't work like that. I'm going to attract only those who are attracted to me. And those who are attracted to me are not attracted to an old white guy who is preaching about spirituality. You're going to naturally navigate to me because there is resonance. And so the older white guy is going to attract another group of people to him, and they're going to resonate with him. This difference should be clear, and people should be aware of that. So there is never going to be a time in human history, in our future, where it's going to be one person who's going to awaken the whole world. It's going to be a concerted effort of many, many, many different teachers who are going to unite the earth as one. Because the beauty of this is that even though we all have a different approach, even though we are all seeing it through a different lens, from a different perspective, we're all going home. We're all going to the same place. So with that, I keep trust that even though they are different than me, even though I am different than them, we're trying to all go to the same place. We just have a different method. But the way to go there, according to my method, is to stop trying to fix the world. The world don't need any fixing. We need to fix ourselves. We need to focus on ourselves. And you can do that by increasing your vibrational frequency and becoming a self-master. And once you become a self-master, you will understand that it's about everybody turning on their own light. And once you truly understand that, you're no longer going to be focused on fixing others. And so, to go back to the analogy of the half glass full and the half glass empty, you're now always going to keep yourself on 100%. And so, that alone is going to be a quantum leap to keep yourself on 100% all day, every day, you're going to be so ecstatic. You're going to feel like you're walking on clouds. You're going to not know what's happening to you, but you feel great. And if I'm going to wake up like this every day, this is amazing. This is phenomenal. This is fantastic. What's this feeling? What am I on? You start to question yourself. Did I drink something yesterday? Like, what happened, right? This is what has to happen to all of us. What if we would all walk around all bubbly and happy and excited? And now I know the pessimists out there will say that's not realistic. Good morning. What's good about it? Right? I know what I'm up against. But I also know the truth that I feel in my heart. I also feel the vibration within me. I feel the energy within me. So I'm speaking from a truthful place. I'm not speaking from a shoulda, woulda, coulda. I'm not speaking from, well, it would be wonderful if. I'm speaking from the place of, I'm already here. You want to join? You know, like Abraham Hicks says, I'm in the vortex. I'm not coming out of my vortex in order to help you. I can become sick in order to make you feel better. You know what Abraham Hicks says? Stay in your lane. Stay in the vortex. You come to my vortex. And so, even as a healer, you have this misunderstanding that you need to heal others. But it is the simple fact that you think you are a healer that creates the sick. The healer created the sick. Otherwise, you can't call yourself a healer. If there are no sick people, there's nobody to heal. There's no healer needed. So, if we are all self-masters, there is no unconsciousness. There is no unconsciousness to get rid of. There's no bad, evil, conniving ego to get rid of. It will not exist in our reality. And we will all work towards a higher goal or the evolution. The world will still be the world, but we will be more cooperative towards each other, much more understanding, much more flexibility, much more emotional range. You won't get upset or angry that fast. You will allow others to speak their truth, and you will see it as a point of perspective that you could use to maybe learn, grow, become smarter, become better. Everything will be used, even the negative. Everything will be used, even the negative things, to enhance yourself, to evolve. And so right now, what needs to happen is that we need to stop fixing other people. Stop fixing other people. Focus on you. Focus on shining your light. Focus on becoming a brighter and brighter and brighter light. We're living upside down. Society is teaching us to fix what's wrong with us. No, you need to enhance what's already good about you. Your light. Enhance your light. Make it bigger and bigger and bigger. Because once you make it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, you will know that the people who are brave enough to step into your energy field, they are vibrating at the same speed. Other people who are not vibrating at that same speed won't even enter. They won't even come near you. They will be way over there watching you from a distance, from a very safe place, from a very safe space, right? But if you stay small and you understand intellectually you are a self-master, but you haven't become the embodiment yet of the self-master, your light is still not shining too bright. Your light is on, but the circumference of your light is small. So, darkness, unconsciousness, can stand right next to you, breathing in your neck. And you're going to feel really uncomfortable, and you're going to be like, what should I do? I know what I should do. I should fix them. I should heal them so that I'm no longer afraid to shine brighter. So now you're going to do something society has told us to do, fix them. And so now you're giving all your life force energy away. You're not 100% anymore. Glass half full, glass half empty. And you keep lowering 100%, 90%, 80%, 60%. You keep giving yourself away with this ideal hope that you're doing something good. You're trying to be good to humanity. You're trying to save your neighbor. And all your neighbor is doing is taking your life force without returning anything back to you, just taking your life force because they don't know how to turn the light on within themselves. And so in this way, you're not teaching them how to turn their own light on. You're basically teaching them how to take. You're teaching them how to expect from others that they should do for themselves. So now we're creating an entitled spiritual community or now we're creating an entitled human who can now use your spirituality against you and give you a guilty conscience for your unwillingness to share. It's like, there's this saying, give someone a fish, you feed them for a day. Teach someone how to fish, you feed them for a lifetime. But you gotta be very, very honest with yourself. You're going to encounter a lot of people in your life who just don't want to learn how to fish. And so now here you are trying to teach them, trying to teach them something, and they're like with their hands out like, could you give me another fish? Just for today, please. Just give me a fish. Just give me a fish for today, and tomorrow I'll be better. Tomorrow we can teach. Tomorrow we can study. Tomorrow I'll do my inner work. But just for today, can you give me that fish? Can you give it to me? Please give me your fish. I'm starving. And then if you don't want to give the fish because you want to teach, but they don't want to study, they don't want to listen, but they keep taking your fish because you're full, you're 100%. So it's like you have to visualize, right? It's like source energy throwing fish on your head, right? Imagine fish raining from the sky, right? All this fish, and the people are looking at you. You selfish person, look at you with all this fish, and you're not giving your fish away? You need to share your fish. Otherwise, we're going to condemn you. We're going to make you look bad in the eyes of society. We're going to tell society, you're not a worthy woman, you're a selfish woman. Because you're not sharing all that fish you have. And here you are, innocent, saying, but I want to teach you how to fish. No, we don't want to learn how to fish, you selfish person. That's just selfishness on your part. Pretending to teach us something while you're sitting on all this wealth. And then you feel guilty because you're not a self-master yet. You're just vibrating high. You put yourself in the vortex, like Abraham Hicks said. The fish is falling down and you are getting the hang of this. You're starting to master this creative process, how to keep yourself in alignment. And in your enthusiasm, you want to help them. You want to fix them. And so now you end up giving your fishes away and you go from 100 to 50 to 30. But because you're a very skillful person, you're an aligned person, you level back up to 100 and then you give your fishes away. But we're not teaching society anything else but to put their hand up and ask and become beggars. So people now are treating, so people now are worshiping certain people in society as a teacher, but they're not learning to become their own teacher, their own inner guru, right? Activate your own inner master. Because society is teaching you the other way around. Society is teaching you to worship that person, to put that person on the pedestal because that person masters the art of fishing. Instead of thinking, oh snap, if that person masters the art of fishing, maybe I can become a fisherman. Maybe I can learn how to fish. I can have my own bucket of fish. And so this is easy to say with a fish analogy because it makes sense, because you can visualize it. But now you have to take the same analogy and apply it to the non-physical. Apply it to your mind. A self-master teaches you how to handle your mind to the point where the fish will fall from the sky and fill up buckets and buckets and buckets. But the problem with that immediately is the fact that now you're only gonna want to become a self-master because it's going to give you an enormous wealth. And I am here basically the bad guy who's going to tell you, but if that is your disposition, if that's what you're after, fish, and you're going to now use the spiritual process, the spiritual awakening process to obtain the fish. So your intention is to have fish, not to become a self-master. You couldn't care less about becoming a self-master. You just want the fish. But now the spiritual teachers are telling you, well, become a self-master and you can have all the fish you want. And so now the whole process is tainted. And the whole process is impure. And now you're trying to become a self-master because there's something you want to have out of society. And so the difference is going to be day and night. Because you're not really going to feel as if you're in the vortex. And you're going to walk the path understanding that you're not in the vortex. As a result of that, and why is that? Because initially your light came on, you are a self-master, your light came on, but you're still small. And now you're surrounded by everyone who is not a self-master yet. And because of your uncomfortableness, because you feel uncomfortable, you're going to allow them to take your fish instead of expanding yourself. Instead of making the container bigger and bigger, so more and more and more and more fish. So you're going to become abundant. You're going to become unconditional. You're going to become unlimited. You're going to become unlimited. And when you become unlimited, you have no problem sharing your fish. And at the same time, you're going to challenge the people by saying, I have so much fish over here. But because you've expanded to such a large circumference, so large that people now have to go on the hero's journey in order to reach you. And so I understand initially we're going to use tricks like invisible carrots and fish in order to lure you in. But the journey is going to be so hard that eventually you're going to give up, and then you're going to still think that the self-master or the spiritual teacher is stingy and they just don't want to share their wealth. So I am here before you with no fish at all. And I refuse to fill the bucket with fish in order to prove to you that I'm a self-master, because that's what's happening now in society. There are plenty of teachers out there who are filling their buckets full of stuff. Everybody's getting mesmerized by the fullness of the buckets. And everybody's saying now, oh yeah, I want to be a self-master. Oh yeah, I want to be an enlightened one. Look at all the stuff you get. Whose fault is that? The students or the self-master? The student? Is it the student's fault to desire and want what the self-master or what the master is presenting? Yeah, whose fault is it? We are upset with the younger generation that they lack responsibility, they lack vision, they lack all kinds of things. They're lazy, they're not hard workers, they want an easy way out, right? All these complaints about our younger generation. Whose fault is that? But it's easy to fall into the trap of showing your pearls when all of society is teaching you or acting and behaving in a way that only pearls are valuable, not your time and energy, not your teaching, not your pure heart. Nobody cares about that. But your pearls are valuable. We want those. And we don't want them because we want to learn something. We just want them because we want to have some stuff that we never had before. So I feel what needs to happen now is to have teachers, this new generation, right? Every generation has teachers. So this new century, every century has their own teacher. So this century, the 21st century, is about teachers who are not going to lead with fish, but they're going to lead with teaching you how to fish. Which is still duality, mind you, because even teaching you how to fish is still on the premise of you're going to get a lot of fish. So now your motivation is to learn how to fish, to get a lot of fish, okay? But that's what it means when we move from one perspective or from one vibration to a higher vibration. Until now, I haven't figured out how to bypass this vibration or this dimension. To a certain extent, I wish we could bypass it, but at the moment, I don't know that we can. I don't know another way that we can bypass it, because what happens if you completely bypass this phase and you move straight into non-duality is that you become completely uninterested with the 3D reality. When you become completely non-dual, you have no more interest to work in this 3D reality. And I don't believe that is the right way to go. It's about being planted and grounded with 2 feet in 3D reality while your head is in non-physical reality. But your body is planted and grounded on earth. But your mind is connected to source. So it's about these 2 different, completely opposite, polar opposite dimensions and collapse them as one, so that as a self-master, we can now create exactly the life we want. Without feeling guilty, without feeling shame, without even having to help other people, because by helping yourself, by shining your light, by becoming the brightest light you can ever possibly be, you're showing other people the way. And so, to conclude, you don't have to fix others, but you do have to fix yourself. And in order to do that, you need to be willing to go through the hero's journey. There's just no other way around it. And so now the hero's journey needs to be more attractive than the fish. The hero's journey needs to be more attractive than what you can receive once you learn how to fish. So it needs to become about the journey. Wanting to take the journey for the simple fact that once you become a fisherman, that type of lifestyle, that abundant lifestyle, is going to just be your norm. And you're going to fish every day with joy, with pleasure. And you'll have no problem with sharing from your overflow. And you have no problem with teaching people how to fish. But you're going to be very clear that it's about understanding you are a fisherman. And so it is who you are that allows you to take action and then attract all the fish to you. And so there's going to be a select group of people, or there's going to be a group of people that's going to ask you, okay, then how can I be a fisherman? How can I be? And then we're on the right track. But before that, we need to take step 1, which is stop giving all your energy away. And once you've turned your light on, you still need to make it stronger. You still need to make it bigger. You still need to expand your circumference. Expand it, expand it, expand it. And so because of it, as a result of that, you will hardly ever encounter people who are negative or not on board or against you. Or it's not like they don't exist. Oh, they exist. But they're going to be way over there, out of your reality, out of your life. They're going to maybe gossip about you, speak about you in a negative light, but who cares? Byron Katie says, whatever somebody else thinks about you is their business. It's none of my business. But as a self-master, you're going to feel really comfortable with that idea. And if you're not a self-master, the idea of other people speaking bad about you is not going to feel comfortable. So we need to get you to that step 1. We need to get you there first. Once we've reached that point, we can move on to step 2. It goes in phases, and you have to be patient. And so that's why I feel it's important that this message is said, and that you're not misled by this idea that there's a quick fix to spirituality. There's a quick fix to becoming enlightened. There's no such thing, but it's the only fix. It's the only fix that's going to create love, peace, and harmony. It's the only fix that is going to allow you to align soul, mind, and body. So the only journey you really have to take is the hero's journey. All of us. In order to wake up to ourselves.